Morning. How you guys doing?
Good morning, everyone.
Well, it's 10:31. So let's welcome our guest today, owner of Artesian Title, and a brilliant man, and is going to be a lot of help to us today, Mr. Rick Nayar.
Thank you, Ryan. How you doing today, sir?
Awesome, buddy. Awesome. Loving the hat.
Thank you, sir. Just trying to go as comfortable as I can go today while I'm from home. Morning, everybody. Hopefully everybody's doing good today. Guys, we're going to focus today on three things. I kind of wanted to focus a little bit on solar panels and let you guys know what's the story with solar panels as far as how it affects your closing. I want you to understand what we have to do from a title perspective. Then we're going to talk a little bit about social media and how 100%, well, 99.9% of realtors do social media wrong. So we're going to talk about what you guys are doing wrong and what you should be doing and how you do it right. And then the last thing we're going to talk about is what Google verified is and how you should be, how you can actually, by simply signing up for a simple program with Google, quadruple your leads from Google at the end of the day for a pretty cheap cost. So first things first, let's talk about solar panels. First of all, let me know, Ryan, how many people are on today? Do you know?
It looks like right now 29, but with realtors, there will be 10 more on here in about 10 minutes.
Any given time period. Okay. I don't know how to do this without, let me put a screen up so I can kind of look at everybody. Okay. I got everybody up. I've got a gallery up. So guys, raise your hands if you have been approached by someone to put solar on a house, or raise your hands if you know someone that has, right? Guys, it is obviously the new craze. I actually am starting a solar company June 1st. So I get it. It's the craze, and hopefully everybody understands what's going on with solar. If not, I'm going to give you a quick education on it. Guys, the way solar works is very simple. At the end of the day, what these companies are doing is they're basically going to people who have an electric bill of at least, let's say $200 a month, and they're basically putting together a solar system along with a tax credit from the federal government and sometimes the state, and they're able to finance this at a cheaper price per month than your electric bill. And all you're doing is getting an extra loan on your home for the next 20 years. That's all you're doing. That's the quick version of what you're doing. So the problem comes in is when someone goes to sell this home, and just so you guys know, when someone puts a loan on your home, they put what's called a UCC filing on this particular, it's a way of guaranteeing that their loan is seen by everybody. And this filing takes priority over your primary mortgage, okay? So just to be clear, when you get a solar panel, and if you foreclose on your home for some reason, the solar company is getting paid before your mortgage, okay? Just so everybody understands that. It's kind of crazy. Well, that obviously creates an issue when you go to sell the home. What happens? And so there's two things that can happen, and there's only two ways of being able to fix it, and it's pretty simple. First way is going to be to pay it off, which is pretty simple, but some people don't want to pay off a $50, $60, $70, $80,000 solar system right away because that could eat up all your profits. The second thing is you let the current homeowner transfer it over to the new person. The problem is when the new owner is taking possession of this home, they have to work out a subordination agreement between their lender and the actual solar company. It happens 100% of the time, almost 99.9%. One of my good friends, Nishad Khan, says there's no absolutes in life. So I will say 99.9% of the time, the solar company works out a deal with the new mortgage company on how to subordinate itself. So just to be clear, so your client is selling their home and your client has solar panels on top of their home. They have two options. They can either pay it off or they can transfer it onto the new home buyer, which is probably what they want to do. But know that when that happens, the existing solar company has to work out a subordination agreement with the brand new lender for the brand new company. Or say your client's the buyer, know that their lender is going to have to work out a deal. Does that make sense, everybody? Okay. Does anybody have any questions about how that's done or how long that takes? Because it can take anywhere from 2 weeks to 3 weeks just to get done, and it needs to be done paralleled to everything else. So what that means is as this deal is getting done, as they're doing inspections, because I always believe in the real estate transaction, you have 3 or 4 worlds going at the same time, right? You have the real estate transaction, the lending perspective, and the title perspective, and they're all paralleled. At the same time period, someone's doing a home inspection, a title search, an estoppel is being ordered, a lender's doing, a lender's getting all its stuff in the underwriting. So there's a lot of things being paralleled. Guess what? This is a 4th thing that needs to be paralleled, okay?
I have a
And
question.
yes,
I
ma'am.
have a question.
Go ahead.
For financing, so this will be, let's say they own $50,000 on the solar panel system.
Yep.
So they will definitely affect financing, and the buyer has to qualify for that extra $50,000.
No. So what's happening is this. The solar panel is technically tied to the home, okay? It's tied to the asset. So what's going to end up happening is it's the way that they usually agree to subordinate this. The reason why it's not usually an issue is because as long as you have good credit and as long as the home makes sense, and as long as they approved it once, they're going to transfer this to someone else. So I have not experienced any situations yet where they have not transferred it over. So what simply happens is at the end of the day, Stella, the new buyer of the home, their lender is just going to agree to subordinate, meaning they're going to agree to allow the solar company is going to agree to allow to be in second lien position to the primary loan is what's going to happen. Does that make sense? And so they don't care whether they qualify or anything like that because it's tied to the home. The value is already in the home. As long as the person buying the home agrees to make that payment each month. And just so you know, guys, the way solar works is you basically stop paying your electric company. You agree instead to pay this lender at the end of the day for these solar panels. And so each month, instead of paying $200 to the electric company, you're paying $200 to a lender for your solar panels. That's all that happens in this situation. And so for a new buyer, you're just saying, hey guys, you're just not paying the electric company. You're paying a lender. You don't have to make an electric bill anymore. And what happens in this particular situation is you eventually own your own power in 15 to 20 years. That's the pitch. And so usually at the end of the day, Stella, it's not a hard thing to get a buyer to understand that. It's not a hard thing to get a buyer to realize that it's not going to affect their credit. They just have to keep making those payments. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question or no?
Yeah, I was just concerned that it was going to affect the qualification as far as with the lender. Okay.
No, it's a total separate issue. It's mainly tied to the home at the end of the day. The biggest issue, honestly, is creating the subordination agreement. It's getting the new lender and the lender that's involved with the solar panels to agree to it. It's not super hard to do. It takes 2 to 3 weeks. They have to come up with all the legal paperwork. Everybody's got to sign off on it. It's just a process. Just know that it's something that has to be done. It's not something that can be ignored. If you don't do it, it'll delay the process. And so what usually happens is we as a title company get involved because what we do at least with us, the first thing we do when you get a listing, we don't even wait till you actually get a contract. When you get a listing, we run a title search then and a lien search then, and we start working on it then. We get with the title, we get with the solar people and basically say, hey guys, you know what, we're going to need this. And they start doing the process. And the seller needs to be involved. Obviously we can't do anything for the new buyer, but at least we alert them and we start the process because it can take 2-3 weeks. And at least that way, when you have a contract, obviously then we have to wait till you go through inspection, but we can just slip it in. So it's easier.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes.
I have recently everybody, good morning. I arrived late to the conference. I got a client that she has a solar panel. When I called to the company, they told me that they don't have to apply because the debt is go straight to the taxes. And the company has one lien, okay? In this case, the Osceola County is where it's located, the property, has a lien to the property because they don't qualify, they don't run in the credit, immediately they go straight, the debt goes straight to the taxes. How can I manage that situation? Because most of the clients or the buyer doesn't want to get a lien.
Okay, well, you have no choice because there's going to be a lien on that home.
Okay.
Anytime anyone's selling a home with solar, there's going to be a lien. A UCC filing is a lien. So
okay.
To answer your question, there's nothing you can do other than pay off the solar panels. There's no options.
Okay.
It's either pay off the solar or it transfers to the new buyer. The way I would handle it, Valentina, is I would say to the new buyers, I would say, listen, you know what? You're not paying an electric bill each month of $200. Instead, you're paying the same $200 you'd usually pay directly to buying your solar over the next 15 years. I would pitch it. It's not a hard, it shouldn't interfere with your sale, to be honest with you. It's just basically saying to someone, you're with this beautiful deal, you own your own power. You know, you're actually buying your own power. You don't pay an electric bill. You pay directly to this to the lender for the solar company. That's what it is. So Valentina, it shouldn't affect things, but you have to explain it to them so that they understand that, yes, it's a lien only until it's paid off. And it's going to take 20 years because guess what? Your new power bills to someone else. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, makes sense. Another things, when you don't have to buy it, when you got a lease, is the same situation when you got when you buy the solar?
A lease is set up the same way most leases are, where at the end of the day, you have a buyout option of $1. But as far as when you transfer it from one person to another, it's the same kind of concept because all lease is a financing agreement. So they just have to go through the process of getting approved. The new buyer does, and it won't be hard. I mean, at the end of the day, they just are transferring it. I'll tell you what the problem is, Valentina, is the only option is to transfer it from the solar company. Otherwise, the finance company, otherwise what's going to happen? They're not going to go take their solar panels down. So they're always going to be open to transferring things. They're not going to give you a hard time to the new buyer.
Okay, thank you.
Because like I said, just remember, the only option they have is to what? Go foreclose on the solar panels. They're not going to go remove them. They're not going to put the house in foreclosure over that. I don't think it's going to get that complicated. So, just know in advance when you see solar panels, that there's an extra step involved. That's all you need to know. There's another actually 20 steps involved that have to run parallel. Just know that. Okay.
Okay. And it's true that when you got a solar panel, your house have a little bit more value?
No, I don't believe that. No, okay. That's my take. I also don't believe a pool's more valuable. That's me. If you look at, resale comps, you can argue some pools have value, but not all pools have value. I don't believe solar panels add value to your home. They may add a very little value. Remember, it's all about your consumer. It's all about your buyer. If your buyer is willing to value that. Right now, the truth is the market's so hot. I mean, your house could have, I bet you have a house with solar, without solar. I don't believe in appraisers valuing it more because it's got solar in it. I just don't think they can because it's not something I think they value as much. That's my take on it. That's my personal take. Ryan, have you seen anything different with that?
I think if it's paid off, it's a little bit, it's more valuable. But
okay,
if it's,
that makes sense. But I'm guessing paid off is probably a small percentage, right?
Right now it is because solar's only been popular for 6 or 8 years.
Yeah,
most people aren't paid off.
I would agree with that too. I would like I said, guys, that's just my opinion. I'm also one of those people that thinks that I don't think a pool is always super valuable to some people. I've seen the same home, obviously it's got a little value, but I've seen the same home sell for $2,000 less without a pool. So it just comes down to what your consumers value, where they're coming from. And right now there's so little inventory, guys, and people are moving here from everywhere. They're just willing to get whatever home they can get. That's just my take on that. I don't know if you agree, Ryan, on the pool thing, but I think it's all about your buyer, if you ask me.
For sure.
Who else, guys? Who else has a question on that before I go to social?
I do. I wonder, does homeowners insurance handle those solar panels any differently?
So it's funny you asked that. I actually own a home insurance company, so I'm probably the right guy to ask. But what I'll tell you is, look, well, first things first, they need to know it's on there. Okay. I won't go in a huge diatribe, but does everybody know what's going on in home insurance right now in Florida? Because we've got a massive issue. So guys, if you don't know, and Ryan, this is probably another class probably, but there's a massive issue with home insurance in Florida. For those that don't know, we've gone from 57 providers of home insurance in Florida down to 31. We're going to have another 8 go bankrupt in the next 12 months. The reason is 2 reasons. Very simple. It's number 1, because of Irma. Number 2, because of all the people doing roof claims with lawyers. That's the bottom line. I've lived in Florida. I'm 44. I've lived in Florida since I was 10. And Ryan, I know you've been here a long time too. Guys, I don't know anybody really that used to pay for their own roof. It just was wait till a hurricane comes and we get a roof from the insurance company. At one point, I owned 20 plus homes. I don't think I ever paid for a roof. I always just waited for a hurricane. I got it that way. Guys, those days are done. Okay. And what's going to end up happening, you're going to see over the next year, is insurance in Florida is going to drastically shift. First of all, everybody in Central Florida has got a 14% interest increase this year. They'll have a 14% increase next year. And starting in September, we're waiting for the bill to pass. Your roof will only be replaced for what's left on it. Meaning if you have a hurricane come destroy your home and the roof has 2 years left, you will only get replaced 2 years worth of life on it. Okay, so that's a big deal for that. Your insurance is getting ready to really change in Florida drastically in regards to roofs and that kind of stuff. But solar panels, you need to let your insurance company know it's on there. It won't make a difference as far as a carrier not covering you. It will make a difference if the age of the roof is less than 5 years and you got solar panels on that house, because they know you're going to have to replace that roof. Your client should never get solar panels on a house unless the roof's got at least 15 to 20 years left of a lifespan on it, is what I tell you. Because you're going to have to replace it again, and it's a pain to have to remove the solar panels and do it. But it won't affect when you have to go through the process of getting a insurance quote or anything of that nature. The bigger things right now with insurance are: do you have a claim? And at the end of the day, do you live in Solo? Solo is Seminole, Orange, Lake, Osceola counties. If you do, they don't want to cover you because we are the home of fraud. Miami is no longer the home of fraud. Orlando is. And it's because of all the companies you're seeing that say roofclaim.com. What's happening is they're going to court, and when they go to court, what's basically happening is the lawyers are being able to charge $1 million in fees just for their legal works. And the state of Florida allows lawyers to charge that. So we've got a massive issue with that, but hopefully that answers that question for you.
Rick,
Yes.
quick question.
Yes.
In Claremont, Lennar, they're doing, their homes in new construction, they're adding solar panel and they're adding it as a CDD. How does that affect?
Okay, so a CDD, just so everybody knows, is basically where something gets added to your taxes. So what that means is it's basically a way of financing something through your taxes, and it stays on your taxes for a time period of 20 to 30 years. And what that means at the end, property taxes. So it's a fancy way of financing it without having to transfer ownership of the loan every time you transfer it. To be honest with you, is it a dual? Is it a dual? A dual,
Yeah.
that's the smartest way of doing it, is through the CCD. That's what I believe it all. I think that's the smartest way of doing it. It's the least paperwork, but it's just another way of financing it. A lot of times, usually builders use that tool to pass along extra developmental costs in communities. Right, Ryan?
Yeah, I see.
Yes, for roads and retention and stuff like that, they'll sell it actually back to the community and all that. And the beauty of a CDD is you get to collect it through the property taxes. So there's no way around it.
Ryan, is this, just so I know, a CDD, is that done, can one community do it? Meaning if you're a builder and you're building one community, can you actually just do it for that one community where you go through the process of just saying, hey, and the only reason I'm asking you is I know someone that's building a community and they got soil issues and they're going to have to spend more money on piles to do something. Can they push that through CDD?
Yes. Yes. And so what happens is the developer ends up paying for it eventually because they can't sell the house for as much because it's got this huge, not huge, but whatever it is, sometimes it'll be huge additional property tax that people will balk at when they're buying the house. So they'll have to sell the house for a little bit less. So it gets passed on to the home builder or whomever. But,
okay.
But yeah, you can do that.
Okay. Guys, who else has a question for that? I got a bunch of questions on the side here before I get to the other stuff. How can you only insure only 2 years on a roof? You can't only insure 2 years on a roof. It won't happen. When you have to get a insurance for that home, the insurance carrier is going to require that you get it replaced unless you go with what we call a non-Florida system insurance carrier. And if you go with one of those carriers, basically at the end of the day, they're going to have requirements to do stuff. Yes, Brian?
She was trying to say, you were talking about how in the future they're only going to replace you if you only had 2 years left on your roof, and so you have to pay for a new roof, but they're only going to reimburse you for the. Correct.
Okay, so guys, what's happening is there's a new law that starts that basically, it's getting ready to pass, and we know it's going to pass. That basically says when you have when you get your insurance policy And for those who don't know, almost all insurance carriers are doing home inspections on your home now. But they inspect your roof and they get a lifespan of your roof. So they say your roof's only got 10 years left on it and your roof gets destroyed during a hurricane or hailstorm. They're only going to reimburse you for the portion that's left on your roof. Okay. And that's going to be an issue for a lot of us because most of us, like I said, are used to getting, I've never paid for a roof my entire life. And that's about to change. You're about to see a big shift in consumers having to buy their own roofs for their homes. But does that answer that question for you? I think it was Deborah that asked that, right?
She's giving you a thumbs up.
Okay, good. Okay, let's talk. Guys, any other questions before I go to? Yeah, go
I
ahead.
do. So who initiates that subordination paperwork? Who is in charge of, okay, is it the buyer's agent that brings the buyers in that tells the agent, we need to start this? Who takes the initiatives to start that process, to monitor that process? And I know everybody's involved, but
Good question. No, that's a great question. It depends where in the transaction you are. Because what's going to happen is this: the title company is basically going, when we run a title search, we're going to get back a title commitment that we present to everybody, and it's going to say on it very clearly, it's going to say there's a solar panel, and we have to pay off the solar panel, and we're going to get a hold of everybody and say, hey guys, have you started the process yet of getting hold of the solar company and coordinating it with the lender? The problem is this: you probably can't do that till you pass inspection, right? Till you, or unless you know it's going to appraise to if it's getting a loan. So you can start the process out preliminarily, but it's a bunch of lawyers that need to do it because they need to create the legal documents. So what I'll say is the title company.
whose lawyers? Whose lawyers will start creating?
The buyer's lender and the solar company lender. So the lenders need to get together and do that. The problem is we don't usually know whether the deal's going through till, on a 45-day transaction till what, day 15, day 20, roughly, and so, and it doesn't take, I'll tell you right now, guys, it does not take a day to do. It takes a week to a week and a half, 10 days, 10 business days for the solar lender and the new buyer's lender to be able to get the stuff together and be able to do it. We're lucky if they're closing files on time, never mind when you throw this in. So know that when you have that situation, you will be delaying closing a little bit, not a lot, just by a couple of days. But to answer your question, I would say the title company starts it, but if you want to take initiative as the buyer's agent in the transaction, you can. Just know that you probably shouldn't do that much until you've passed inspection, till you know it's going to, and if you know it's going to appraise, then you can start it. But just know that in your head, there's a timeline that you want to start at, and that's what I tell you. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
So like I said, title company will do it, but if you want to be proactive, you can start doing the process at the end of the day. Who else has a question on this, guys? Okay, let's talk about social media. Guys, most people do social media wrong. 99.9% of companies, businesses, and realtors, almost all of you do it wrong. I'm a realtor. Almost all of us do it wrong. What's the story with social media? So social media, to be successful, guys, needs to be selfless. Okay, what do I mean by that? I mean, it needs to provide valuable information to people. Anytime you post something on social media, it should do two things. It should either make you smile or make you smarter. If it doesn't make the consumer smile or smarter, then don't post it. It has to be selfless. It can't promote yourself. It can't be something that's going, hey, if you need help buying a home, call me. That doesn't help anybody. That's not selfless. That's, guys, the number one realtor in the top realtors in the country are lucky if they have 100,000 followers. Okay. Just so you know, and the average realtor has somewhere close to like 600 followers. That's the average realtor that's out there doing stuff, gets going. Guys, 600 followers isn't enough to move the needle. What you're better off doing is creating, and like I said, not everybody's going to do this, but you can do it in a niche you want to focus in on. But what you're better off doing, guys, is creating a niche, first of all, that you specialize in real estate, and creating what we call a neutral channel. And by channel, I mean a Facebook or an Instagram channel page. Okay, we call them channels. That's what the marketing lingo, the branding lingo is in the world for that. But you need to create neutral channels that provide value for your clients at the end of the day, that educate your clients, either make them smile or make them smarter on whatever sector that, or whatever niche you're in. So if you're specializing in golf course homes in Central Florida, your data you provide should make that target audience smarter or smile every time you post. And you don't have to post every day. It's about quality, not quantity. I don't care what anybody tells you. If you're posting, but you do want to post a few times a week so you have a habit going. But if you're posting a lot of BS each day, you're going to get ignored. You're going to get muted at some point in time period. The key is posting quality content. The key is posting things that make a difference, that encourage people, and people need to think you're neutral, meaning that's why, I'll give you an example. We're creating as a title company, it's funny because we went out last year and paid $20,000 to hire an agency to give us advice on what we should be doing on social media. And they came back and said, you should not be a title company. And I said, what do you mean? They said, you should be a company that is educating realtors across the country on what helps them grow and what makes them smarter. Because who the heck wants to follow a title company as a realtor? You're not going to want to. But if you're following a company that's neutral, maybe they're called Master Key, and all they do is help people grow as far as realtors go and provide them information and makes them laugh and all that kind of stuff, there's more likely to get a bigger following. So you need to take that concept and apply it to your world. So whatever you're doing in real estate, if you're specializing in a community, you need to be the specialist in that community and talk about the community. I would not talk about how you can help them sell a home ever. Let people, you can sponsor things eventually, but the goal should be to come across as selfless. That's what good social media is. And what you'll find is most people don't do it right. Most realtors don't do it right. There are one or two companies that are doing it right, that are posting stuff, educating people really. And it's a whole job, guys, having to post about educational stuff or make people smarter and real content, because quality is king. You're going to have to hire a writer that you pay probably 30, 40 bucks an article to post on a blog so you can write articles. You're going to have to hire someone to help you with it. But if you want to do social and you want to do it right, that's how you do it right. And that's how you grow a brand. And that's how you get to the point where you can do, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 deals a year pretty easily. It's not a hard thing to do. So, but who's got a question on social? I wanted to go over the basics of it. Okay, guys, the other thing you should do in social is every one of you at the end of the day should have some sort of niche that you're in. I don't know if I've talked to any of you guys before, but I do a lot of speaking in the real estate world. And one of the big mistakes people make is they don't focus on anything. They don't focus on one thing. They focus on multiple things. As a realtor, guys, I've never really met a successful realtor that at the end of the day has focused on multiple markets in Orlando or multiple things. Successful people focus on one thing, and that's what you need to focus in on. You need to focus on one thing and be the master of that one thing. That's how you grow at the end of the day. Someone asked, what's a good site for content? There is no good site for content. You can't recycle content. You need to go read articles on Inman and come up with your own content. Guys, if at the end of the day, your goal, if you want to do social, and I'll tell you, this is my opinion, do it right or don't do it at all at the end of the day. Because if you're just going to go out there and rehash the same article someone else does or someone else posts and you're not being unique, what's the point? Why would someone want to read you? The goal should be, from a social media standpoint, to get engagement from your followers. 50% of the people that follow you should engage, meaning every single time you write something or you post something, you need 50% of people to engage. That's the number. When you look at your social media numbers, ignore how many followers you got. Post things consistently. How many people respond to you? That's usually a sign of how many people you really got following you, and outside of your family. So get rid of them, because mom, sister, brother, dad, they'll all post like I like stuff. Ignore them. They're nice, but they mean nothing to you. So as far as this goes, what you need is real people to see whether you got a real following. But that's how you grow a real social media following. And it's being selfless and going down that path. I want to talk about one more thing before we go. I want to talk about a program Google started called Google Verified. So everybody pull out your phone if you could. I can see pictures of you. So everybody pull out your phone and show it to me. We all got our phones somewhere, right? I want you to Google Orlando Realtor. Google the words Orlando Realtor. And then I'm going to ask Deborah, Adul, I'm going to ask you guys what you see. What does it look? What happens when you Google Orlando Realtor, Deborah? Oh, you got to unmute, Deborah. I don't know how to unmute you. Adul,
Veronica Figueroa.
Adul,
Yes, I
what is it?
saw Veronica Figueroa and Wermer
Vegan
Group
Group.
Realty.
Okay, and what does it show? Does it show Google verified next to their names?
Google screened.
Okay, Google screened, right? Guys, that's a brand new program that Google started that every single one of you can participate in, that does a background check on you, that verifies who you are, that if someone types in the word Orlando Realtor, you'll show up at the top. And so there's only, just so you know, in Orlando, there's about 20, including both boards. Ryan, what's the number up to? Are we at like 27,000 or 29,000 between Oscar and Aura?
Yeah, at least between
Yeah,
the two.
we're probably close to 30,000 realtors. Guys, 100 realtors have signed up for this program only out of 30,000 in Orlando. That's it.
Correct me if I'm wrong, because I signed up for it. It costs money.
Cost $50 to sign up for the screening originally.
To get
and then-
to get verified, right? But then they bump you. They only put you at the top if you pay for it.
100% correct, but you're going to get if you're willing to pay, if you're paying for reviews at all, this is the most cost efficient review program out there right now because there's no one else doing it. Did you do it, Dalton?
I did. Yep.
And did you pay for it? Are you on a PPC campaign?
I am on a PPC. I did it about a month ago. I reached out to do the Google verified thing, and they put me in touch with a concierge, and then we went back and forth, and they do a background check on you, and then they verify you. But then you have to pay pretty much like your PPC to actually be bumped up top.
Correct. You do, but you're not competing with a lot of people opposed to how many you compete with everybody else, and you're the first thing they see. So the people I know that are using it, I know Veronica, and she's crushing it with this program, guys. It's a cheaper program than anything else. So I agree with you, Dalton. You're gonna have to pay to get screened. It costs you $50 to get a background check. And if you are paying for leads or doing any program, guys, this is the best program out there right now. It's beating Zillow even as far as cost of leads go. Dalton, what kind of response have you had? I don't know what you're spending, so.
No, mine's phenomenal, but I don't disagree with what you're saying. I'm just saying it's not free.
Oh no,
It's a great program.
Guys, I'll tell you right now, it's the best program out there, period. If any one of you wants to grow your business, anyone who wants to do this, this is what you should be doing. And I'll tell you, it's only going to last another 3 months because I keep talking about it a lot. And you're going to get a lot more people on this, but I'm telling you, do it now if you want. It's the cheapest lead form I've seen, period. Every top 100 realtor in the country is doing it. And that's who usually I talk to. I do a lot of interviews with the top 100 nationally ranked realtors. And we only have one realtor in Florida that's ranked nationally, just so you guys know. So at the end of the day, it's something you should do. It doesn't cost much money to get the background check. If you're willing to buy leads, it's the cheapest lead you're going to buy. It's the best program. It's what I recommend you do. I jump on it if that's what you're looking to do. For some people, it's not what you're trying to do. So that makes sense. But for those of you that are trying to grow, trying to get leads, do it. I'm talking tomorrow to 14 different Keller Williams groups tomorrow. And all we're talking about is that. We're talking about how they do it, what you can do with it. So I'd advise you to jump on doing this kind of stuff because I believe it's something that it's got a lifespan of a certain time period. I think in 90 days to 180 days, it's not going to be as great it is right now, in my opinion. So
would you cut some of your spending like on Zillow to do that?
Yes, I would. It's the cheapest lead you can do right now by far. It is. When I talked to Veronica about it, she said it's a gift from the real estate gods, is what she said. And it will only last, I'm telling you, 90 days to 180, because the more we talk about it, the more we're going to go talk about it, everybody else, other people are going to start using it, and it's going to pick up quick. But I will tell you, for the next 6 months, do it. For those that have been around real estate a long time, and just so you guys know, I don't practice residential real estate now, but I sold 1,200 homes in 2011, 12, 13 as a realtor. And I had a team at one point of 150 agents. I don't have any now. But when we did that, we had to spend a lot of money on leads. And my big shtick was I was providing leads each week to them. And we were part of some of the early programs, like the Zillow early program, where we paid $50, guys, in the beginning with Zillow. For territory, you paid $50 a month. and you got a territory. Guys, I used to get so many leads off that program in the beginning, it wasn't even funny. This reminds me of that. This is the early onset version of the cheapest lead source the best quality cheapest lead source I've seen in a while for that price point. So
do they do it by territory or zip code or?
Right. There's not enough people to cover Orlando. They don't have enough people right now in the program. Right now, they're doing it by simple cities, and they're rotating through, and they're probably doing a bit of combination of bidding process and rotating it through. I will tell you, I think it's for the last time. It's funny because every time I talk to Veronica about it, she said, "Stop talking about this with me." She's like, because she knows it's going to end. This is, guys, I'm telling you right now, this program will not work as well in 6 months because everybody is going to be doing it. But yeah, for now, she didn't want to delve in with me. I talked to a guy in Miami yesterday about what he's spending. He said he's spending 50% less on his Google pay-per-click lead with this program for his leads than he usually does. And he says it's about 40% less than Zillow. So I definitely know it's cheaper. I know it's quick. I know it's a lot, but just be ready to deal with it too. I don't know what your spend is, Dalton, but the guys
what's good about it is they're direct consumers. They are literally looking for a real estate agent. It's not like a Zillow lead that's clicking contact agent. These people have Googled realtor and they're looking for somebody to sell their house or to buy a house with. So that's what makes them good leads.
Guys, it's I'm telling you, it's the best program out there now, and everybody and their mother should have it. If you don't have it yet, shame. If you want to grow, that is, if you're trying to grow, you should get on this program. Super simple to do, not hard to get done. It just takes time. It takes Google about 2-3 weeks to, Dalton, I don't know how long it took you, but it usually takes 2 to 3 to 4 weeks to get done, right?
Yep.
So you got to go through a background check, provide stuff, they want to usual stuff. They want to make sure you don't have criminal background. They want to make sure you didn't do anything crazy in the past. Nothing, nothing that should be an issue, I would think, if you're trying to grow. So
Yeah, if Dalton passed, it should be fine.
Yeah, you should be good.
Guys, who else has a question or anything?
What is the website to get registered for this service?
If you Google how to get registered for Google Screen Professions, it'll show up. Google has it show up at the top. So it's a process you go to. Just Google it. How to register to be a Google screened vendor.
Question.
Yes.
It's gonna be one for Orlando, one for Kissimmee, one for Davenport. Because I see here, I looking for Kissimmee Realtor and shows, for example, Roberto Santiago from Florida Realty in Kissimmee and in Orlando. So has to be one payment for each one.
Right now, there's not enough people doing this program. And so because of that, they're probably spreading people in multiple areas is what they're doing. I think what they'll do is they'll ask you what areas Dalton, when you did this, did they ask you what specific area you focused in on?
Yep, they did.
Yeah. And so what they do at the end of the day, you go through the process of making sure that you focus in the area that you want to focus in on. So tell them what you want. Does that make sense? Tell them the area that you want to be in, and that's the area you'll be in.
Good, thank you.
Well, it's typically where, for me, they set me up with a concierge. So he obviously wanted to upsell me ads, but they just pretty much did it where I'm already paying for ads. So my pay-per-click is in certain areas. That's where they're putting me.
Yeah, guys, and I'm telling you right now, this is a program you have to be ready to handle. Okay, this is not like a program that you can just go turn on and if you're not used to dealing with internet leads, if you're not used to, and what I mean by that is you've got to pick up the phone call when they call. If you don't pick up that phone call, they're done. We have a 2-minute rule. It used to be 2 minutes. I can show you the science behind a Harvard study that shows if you don't respond to something in 2 minutes, there's no chance of getting anything. It's changed. With these snowflakes, and they're snowflakes. No offense to anybody that's a snowflake here, but with the snowflake generation, guys, it literally is seconds. If they don't get what they want quick, they're going to go find someone else that'll do it for them, that'll get it for them. And so you got to pick up that call and you got to stop what you're doing to do it. So understand that, guys. This is about, when it comes to this type of lead generation, you have to pick up the calls. You have to be prepared to pick up the calls. You have to be ready to write down whatever you got to write down. And there's no knowing when they're going to happen. They're just going to happen. And you have to be ready for it. I can't stress that more than anything, because a lot of people will start doing this and be like, well, I didn't want to take the calls then. Guys, it doesn't work that way. If you want to do this right, do not waste your money if you're not going to answer the phone call always. Do not waste your money if you're not going to be able to follow up with them. You know, I'd highly recommend if you're buyers, you make them sign buyer agent agreements. If they're listing agents, obviously, if they're sellers, you obviously sign agreements with them. But make sure you sign buyer agents agreements with these people. Make sure you follow your processes. Make sure whatever your processes are. Ryan, do they do buyer agency agreements usually?
We do classes on a buyer brokerage agreement, and they're supposed to do it, but they're realtors, right?
Hey, guys, listen, I'll tell you this. I'm a realtor, so I can say this. You're an idiot if you don't do it. Because at the end of the day, I don't know, guys, I don't know if this has happened to anybody. I'm pretty sure it has. Has anyone ever lost a nice buyer that was really nice that you showed them that went to go look at a new construction site without you? Didn't mean to do it, but ended up doing it just because they did. They just did. They didn't mean to. They just did it because they were there. And guess what? That builder didn't pay you. If you had a buyer agency agreement signed, guess what? You get paid your commission. They have no choice. They have to honor it. So my advice to you is don't work for free. The biggest mistake realtors make is they don't value their time. And it's the biggest, you know, you only got to do it one time where you don't take somebody out, where you don't check if they're pre-qualified. You know, there's nothing more embarrassing than taking someone out, showing them homes, putting an offer together, submitting it, and finding out afterwards that they don't qualify for a home. Don't waste your time. It's the same concept. You know, go through the process of making sure everything you do makes logical sense. You sign a buyer agents agreement. That's another class though. But guys, it's something all of you should do. If you don't do it, shame on you, because you will get burned one day. And when you do get burned, you'll be like, oh yeah, Ryan talked about it in a class one time and I didn't do it. And it cost me 10 grand. So who else has got a question on stuff while I'm lecturing? Ryan, anything else you want me to go over, man?
Yeah. All these people you're going to be talking to at Keller Williams, everybody in this chat right now can afford to do this more than the people at Keller Williams can, because we're taking 0% of your commission and they're taking 36% of theirs. So spend the money, go do the little things that you need to do. This Google verified, spend the money to get to the top of the list if you want. Go battle it out with Veronica or whatever city or town you're in. I've just sat here, Googled all the different cities and towns, and every town has their own, somebody different pops up at the top. Even if they show up on the bottom of the Orlando one, they show up somewhere else at the top. I looked in Tampa, St. Pete, everywhere. So everybody has a different list. So you can get in whatever your little niche is, you need to get on that. We're also taking a collection to get Rick some glasses because he keeps looking in the thing. Like that. So if anybody could help him out, that would be great. And I really appreciate Rick coming on today. If you guys have any follow-up questions for him or anything, I'm sure he'll give you some follow-up information. And also, he neglected to do like a 1-minute commercial for his title company, and I'm sure that
you remember I never usually do that. I don't do a good job of that usually, but I'll give you the quick spiel. Look, if you Google Orlando Title Company, just Google that. Look who the #1 title company is with the most reviews in Orlando. It's us. We've got 545-star Google reviews. We're just big on customer service. We're big on helping our people grow. We have 3 attorneys that work on every single contract. So we have attorneys on staff. We close anytime, anywhere, any place for free. And on top of that, I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, Ryan, but we'll match. We lower your I think we lower your fee.
I don't know if you're able to say it, Rick.
Okay, I don't think I'm able to say that either. But at the end of the day, we make sure your clients are taken care of from a settlement fee perspective. And at the end of the day, guys, we're just about helping you grow. I'm big on relationships and seeing what we can do to help you grow, seeing what we can do to allow you to grow your business. Your clients, at the end of the day, we're super big on making sure their experience is good. Google us. If you Google Orlando Title Company, our title company is called Artesian Title. We're the #1 title company in Orlando as far as reviews go. 530 plus on Google 5-star. And it's because we care about their experience. We close anytime, anywhere, any place for free. I don't care if it's a church at midnight on Tuesday. I don't know why you're there, but we'll close. You know, airport, 7 a.m., wherever it is. We are the leaders in RON, remote online notarization, which is closing online without anything. We're one of the first ones in Florida to do it. We do probably 30 a month sometimes where we do those. So we're all about being convenient for you guys, being able to help you grow. And at the end of the day, if you have legal questions that pop up anytime you need them, guys, we're all about helping you, because that's why we have a bunch of attorneys on staff to see if you have questions that pop up with transactions that you need help with. But other than that, if you have questions just in general about how you need to grow, I'm all about that. If you can't tell, I usually have someone with me on my team that's a relationship manager that does the 1-minute spiel. I care more about helping you grow. I get a bigger kick out of that than I do of getting your business usually, because usually I figure if I help you grow, I'll get a shot one day. But either way, thanks for having me on, Ryan. You guys are always great, and appreciate helping you guys grow.
All right.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Rick.
Rick. Take care,
Thank
bud.
you.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Guys, we're going to stay on and answer any questions that you have. I don't know who the host of this meeting is. I don't know why it's not me, but I couldn't mute you guys or anything during this whole thing. Rick is having a hard time reading whatever he needs to get off of here. It's the red button that says leave.
Someone asked the question, so I'm entering my contact information. 407-810-06.
All right.
Done.
Mr.
Left.
Magoo. Thank you, Mr. Magoo.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, that was fun. So any kind of questions you guys have on what's going on with FRI or with anything else?
Hey, Ryan.
Yes.
I got in a little late. I'm on my way to Palm Coast to look at some property for a client. What's the website for that? For the Google?
You just said Google.
Well, it's you just interestingly, you just Google how to get Google screened. In fact, I'll do it right now.
Google Screen.
It's called Google Screen. So just Google, and it's a Google service. So Google will tell you all about it because they want to sell it to you. So I'm going to Google it right now. How to get Google screened.
I wonder if you pay for that and they start doing auto deductions out of your account and you want to end it. I wonder how hard that is to do.
I just paused everything, Tammy, because I had to get a new debit card, and it was just instantly paused.
What'd you say?
I paused everything because I got a new debit card.
Oh, okay.
So they instantly paused everything on that spot, like on the moment.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
but if you want to get out of it, is it month to month, or is it a 6-month, or is it a 1-year contract?
You guys are going to have to, well, yeah, go ahead, Dalton.
There's no contract. It's just like Google pay-per-click. That's all it is. I mean, it's just you set a budget that you want to spend per month. If that's $10, it's $10. If it's 10,000, it's 10,000. And you can change it to 0 next month.
So if nobody clicks on you, you don't pay?
Correct.
Okay.
So they're just bringing your name up to the top because you're an Orlando realtor, and then they'll click on your name and possibly call you. And that's what you're basically paying for.
Correct.
Okay.
Hey, Rich, there's, I just Googled it. There's videos and everything showing you how to do it.
Okay, great. As soon as I get back from Palm Coast, I'll do it.
Awesome. Awesome. If you guys missed any part of this or any training, sometimes when the outside people come in and do their own screen shares and have a presentation like that, we don't get it recorded. But any ones that we initiate like today, we get recorded. So they'll be on our YouTube channel.
Ryan, could you share the link for the videos that you found?
I can do it, but Abby is better at it than I am, so I'll let her do it.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you, Abby. You bet, Martha. What else is going on with you guys? Any other questions, comments?
Will you clarify for me helping people and not charging them? Like I have another one, another seller that has a long-term 20-year tenant in her property, and the tenant, they've never had a lease, and the seller is in Ocala. She wants to sell. The buyer probably is not going to buy. She has the option, but I think she's not going to. So I told her she probably needs to make some type of lease between this person so she can then give her notice to move out. Am I allowed to do that? I mean, she sent me the lease, her month-to-month lease, and I loaded it in my dot loop for electronic signatures, and I sent it to the tenant. I'm not being paid, but should I be out of that loop?
If you can possibly be out of the loop, you should be. But if you're not touching the document or giving advice on writing the document or anything else, you're not acting as an attorney or anything, that's fine.
No, she got her own document. I just did it in my dot loop and sent it for electronic.
You just did a favor for somebody. That's fine.
Okay.
Don't get involved in writing contracts or putting language in anything for anyone, or even advising them if you're not getting paid. If you're not, and I don't mean that because of the money, I mean that because you're not officially working for anybody. And you don't
Should
want
I,
liability
should
for
I
something.
be, should I be paid? I mean, should I agree with them to do it? You know what I mean? Or am I more protected if I had an agreement?
No, we're protected as long as you don't act in an unethical or illegal way, which is, you're not writing language or anything like that.
Does FRI offer any type of service like that where they have a person with the management company that would be under the protection of that legal aspect without maybe going under full management for the kind of like this kind of a situation?
Where you're just doing something for free for somebody?
No, that the buyer would actually, the seller would pay FRI, the management side, just to do this type of
To
portion
just
of,
put it in a signature program?
pardon?
You're just putting it in a signature program. You're not doing anything.
Correct. But could it turn into something? Like,
No, and we have general liability insurance in case you guys are actually doing business and get in trouble. We have E&O and we have general liability.
okay.
A surprisingly big amount of things fall under E&O, which aren't really errors or omissions, so it's kind of weird. But we have both.
Okay.
All right. Any other? Oh, I want to talk about the email I sent out about property management. About 20 of you thought I was talking to you directly. That's sent to everyone because someone got involved in something they shouldn't have. 1 out of 925 of you got involved in something that they shouldn't have. So I sent it to everyone because I need to update you guys. I want to, for our liability purposes, I want to update you guys every 3 to 6 months that you're not allowed to do illegal stuff. So that's what was going on. If you are, I just want to go over these for you again. If you are managing your own properties, that's perfectly fine. You don't even need a real estate license to do that. You don't need to go through a broker. There's no money. If you're managing someone else's property, like a client, and you keep selling them houses and they ask you to help with their management, if they are not paying you or giving you gifts for it, that's fine also. Okay, you're a friend helping someone out. Okay. If you are accepting large gifts, or I don't mean they took you to dinner because you went by and swept the place out for the new tenant. I mean, if you're accepting large gifts, a trip to Cancun, or you're accepting money for doing real estate services, that has to go through your broker. Okay. Everybody understand that? All right. That's it. So what happened was one of our agents was managing property, and I don't know what has happened to this person. They have fallen off the face of the earth, but they were taking money and giving it to the owner, taking money and giving it to the owner, and taking money and giving the owner. And then they were just taking money, and the owner hasn't heard from them for several months. So that's what was going on. And I don't know, and the person may have been deceased for all I know, because I haven't heard from them. They're up to renew their real estate license this month, so we'll see if they do. But that's it. Any other questions or comments on any of that stuff? You guys had a lot of questions on that when I sent that out. A lot of people had a lot of questions. Any other questions besides how I just explained it?
Just about the renewal. You brought somebody that gave us a class and we got credit for it. Would you be able to get us a class for the legal or those requirements for renewal?
Possibly. I will look into that for you guys. Yeah. Because what happens is, and this is why I don't normally bother with these things, I end up with like 9 credit hours in 2 years, and then I need 5 more to renew by the end of the month or whatever. And I end up just taking all 14 online because I don't want to be confused and stuff. I'm sure a lot of you guys do that. Because it's like $19.99 and you just do it. But I will certainly try, Stella. And feel free to look for some on your own. People are always advertising that stuff on Facebook and other of these mastermind groups and all this stuff. So feel free to look for that stuff on your own. But I will try to do that as well. Yes.
Thanks.
Regarding that, Ryan and Stella, I took my my continuing education Aura, did a lot of Zoom classes for free, and that's something that you can go, like towards the end of the year. They always offer free classes, and this past year, because of COVID, I was here, and I did a lot of Zoom calls with Aura with their classes, and they were giving credit.
Awesome. Thank you, Malvis. Yeah, guys, Abby has put the YouTube link in the chat. Please copy that into your browser, bookmark it, whatever you have to do so you have it. I get a lot of people email me for that link about once a day. So, I mean, not the same people every day, but you get it. Any other questions?
Ryan,
Yes.
I ask you what's the link for the Google screened information, because I found, but shows all third-party companies, but I
Okay.
didn't find.
No, there's no link for it. I mean, I could find a link. I just Googled how to get Google screened.
Rick said to type how to register to be a Google screen vendor.
How to register?
How to register to be a Google screen vendor. That's what this person mentioned, Rick.
Okay, thank you.
Ryan, I have a question.
Hold on one second. Hold on one second. All right, I just put that in the chat, what she just said. How to register to be a Google screened vendor. Google that.
Yes, that's what Rick said. You're welcome.
Perfect. Yes, any other questions on anything?
I do actually. Can you explain, in your opinion, what is the right of refusal for exactly? You know, how many, you know, where can it be used? I have a little bit of understanding of it, but you know, can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Well, yeah, it's different for all kinds of different scenarios. We talked about this about 6 months ago on here. So there was a first right of refusal is a right that people have. Is this for like a condo board has this? So before you can buy a condo, they have the first right of refusal.
It's a construction company. It's a construction company that specializes on buying lots for buyers, and they have the right of, they can buy the lot for the buyer, but they have the right of the refusal. So my understanding was the right of refusal is used for, you know, for sellers that have like a tenant in place to give them the right to purchase the home before they give it to anybody else. But it seems like I've never used it or seen it, but it seems like it has multiple usage.
Yeah, you can have a first right of refusal on anything, really. I can give you one on my car where I'm not going to sell my car. If Dalton makes me an offer for $10,000 for my car, I can say, Malvis, Dalton offered me 10,000, and you have the right to either match that or pass, refuse. So that's, I mean, that's how it works for real estate as well. I don't understand the construction company having one. I mean, anybody can have one. It's different from an option. You have to have a bona fide offer, and someone has the right then that they've paid for, somehow been granted this right, either paid for it or you've negotiated with them at some point. A lot of times someone will sell you the lot next door to their house so you can build it, but they have the first right of refusal if you're going to sell it to somebody else because they only want you living there, right? Or something like that. Parents will do it with their kids, whatever, where if I try to sell that lot now for $100,000, the person who granted me that can say, no, we'll pay you $100,000 for it, but I have to have a bona fide offer for it.
Okay. Thank you.
But if I bring that offer, let's say Daryl wants to buy that, and I bring the offer from Daryl, Daryl's going to be disappointed, but I should have told Daryl up front that someone has a first right of refusal. Okay. I'm not sure how that works with a construction company.
I don't know either.
Okay.
As I find more information, I'll let you know.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody else have a question?
I think that I found the link. I sent it in the chat.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments or questions?
I have one.
Yes, sir.
Will Mrs. Langley be going out for a birthday dinner tonight?
She has refused. She has refused all birthday dinners. She is, I don't know what she's doing. She's going to the gym for whatever reason.
I can relate.
I can't imagine doing that on my birthday, but, or any day really, but that's what she's doing. So no.
Cool.
Oh, we did have a nice dinner Saturday night. Thank you for asking.
Tell her we all said happy birthday.
I certainly will. Thank you. Any other questions or comments, birthday related or otherwise? None? All right, guys. Well, thank you all for coming. I hope you guys learned something today. Any other requests or anything that you have for future meetings, just let me know. You can email me. You don't have to do it now. But I appreciate you all coming, and I'm going to leave this meeting here in a minute. And I don't know if it's going to end it for everybody because I do not seem to be in charge of this meeting. So good luck with you guys, and have a great week, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.